Hello folks, we're back again, and today we've got an interesting topic. Every now and then we like to just kind of break it up and do a topical conversation, and this is a question for you. And the question I'd like you to answer in the comments down below. We'll be taking the results of those comments, maybe expounding upon it in a different video.
Perhaps.
If no one writes a comment, there'll be nothing to say.
Right.
Or maybe that will be the answer.
Yeah, the answer is silence.
Yeah, the answer is, we don't care!
Yeah.
I bet you do, though. And the question is, how much is too much shipping for your crowdfunded game?
Ooh, yeah.
That should be a hell of a title.
That's a big topic these
We'll have
days.
to abbreviate that. But yeah, in fact, let me do this. I'm going to pull this table back so we don't shake the camera. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to talk about it a little bit and kind of share our opinion if you care to hear it. But we'd really like to hear from you. We want to know, like, if you've got a certain cutoff point, is there some strange mathematical equation that you use? Is it all completely based on how theme blind you are about a particular game? Or is it that you find the shipping to be typically reasonable?
Yeah.
And you're willing to pay for it?
Yeah, and what time do you just back out of just say that's too much? I'm gonna get, I didn't expect to pay $50 in shipping for this $70 game.
Or maybe you don't. Like maybe you've never done that. Once you commit, it doesn't matter what they're going to charge you for shipping. You're just going to pay it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how they get you, because they wait, and then they say, yeah, it's almost here. Look at all this awesome stuff. It's going to be $75.
So shipping has changed a lot. And somebody, if you're a logistics nerd, which I feel like I became a lot more of a logistics nerd since I started backing board games. Because I'm watching them. If they tell me the boat, I'll check on that boat every day.
No, really?
I'm
the kind of person that I back stuff now, and I try to just forget about it. It's like I'm fermenting beer or wine or something. I'm like, I'll let that sit for a couple years and just try to forget that it's there.
Well, I'll pay attention to it throughout different phases. Usually the initial phases, I'm just kind of waiting for the pledge manager to hit. Right. Just because depending on, sometimes that can be months or years later, and then you'll be able to then find out what the shipping's really going to cost you, right?
Yeah.
Because it changes. They'll say one thing they usually have an estimate. They do their best to do an estimate. So, and we'll be, I'll be checking on a lot of stuff that I bought on GameFound, because I got to say, it's so much easier to see holistically what the campaign was and what you paid for it.
Sure, yeah.
It's so much easier to see there than almost anything else, and it's kind of all in one place, which is why it's better. One that's come up now, and it's really interesting, is Robinson Crusoe. So Robinson Crusoe is a game by Portal Games, a fairly big gaming company, and it's an old game. It should have come out a long time ago.
Right.
They were done. I guess
I've heard about this a few times from Sean.
I backed this game, and they're doing something really unusual. They are shipping to... So, after 2020, there were all these things that happened. So, one was the boats were real expensive. So at one point, the shipping containers and stuff were at there was a very small amount of them, and shipping across the sea was just enormously priced. Now that's kind of come back to normal. That's almost the same price or lower than it was in 2020 and 2019. But the shipping, the last mile shipping, the shipping from your house to one of these hubs has become enormous. Like it's like gotten very expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like they've flip-flopped. So we haven't really had a break in the amount of price and shipping in the past couple of years.
Damn, those worker unions. Those worker unions that want more money for their people. Well, I agree with that. But yeah, it's just general inflation at that point that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah. Well, there's that. There's cost of gas. It's like a cumulative effect.
Yeah.
So Portal Games, what they've done with this, it's a long story long. They've taken their games and they're shipping them all to Europe. So
that's a really weird choice.
Yeah, and then they're going to ship directly from there to here. So that's something I've only seen done once by a really terrible game. I'm not going to pull it out.
It must be something. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason why they're doing this financially. There must be something where they've got like.
And they haven't disclosed any of the things that I'm speculating about.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I'm speculating. But could it be that last mile shipping is so expensive that it's just easier to, instead of setting up a hub and getting all that logistics worked out there, if you just skip all that and do it in house?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be just simply for the ease of mind that they don't have, but I don't know. I mean, that seems like it's such a huge cost for these games is to get them shipped. So you would think that they would do it whatever way is going to be cheapest for them. Maybe they don't have the resources to have to go through and find everybody. And he said it's already behind schedule. Maybe that's just the quickest route they had to go ahead and get it out. Who knows? Yeah.
So this pledge was April 9th, 2021. So it was kind of a while ago.
Yeah.
27 pounds shipping.
Or euros.
Isn't that pounds?
No, that's the little E. The pounds is the L.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Hey Siri, how many dollars is 27 euros?
That top one's saying so. That's actually pretty close right now with the euros.
Yeah, 29. So it's just a little bit more than $1. $1.15.
Yeah, but that's probably not like, that's cumulative that they're maybe, I don't know, is that specific to you that they're giving you that for? Because it's also coming.
Well, this was well before they had any of those plans.
So this is the early part. Of what
this is what I did at the Pledge Manager like over a year ago. So.
Because I was going to say that's relatively reasonable.
It's probably too reasonable. Is what happened. Is that the prices swelled up from there. So and the prices have gone up a lot. And one other one that I'll pick on a little bit is the Dungeons and Lasers. Did you ever see I did an unboxing of it. Just an enormous amount of boxes. Yeah. Now they weren't heavy, but there was a lot of mass, just a lot of cardboard, a lot of plastic.
Space.
The first time I did shipping with them, it was $30 for the Dungeons and Lasers encounters. Now, just back to this other one, which has happened roughly a year later or so. So now the second campaign that happened a bit later, I don't remember if it was almost a year or about a year later. $46 in shipping. Yeah. So it went up $16 just in a small amount of time.
But you're also getting 173 euros worth of stuff there, where the other one was 99. So I don't know how that's translating to what you're actually getting, or if it's a similar amount of content because of.
Yeah, I'm curious too about I know I have some of these things, like the trees I got in my last campaign. But they take all the things that they offer and they shuffle them all into other box sets. So it's like they sell a lot of the content they sell. Some of it is a repeat of older things that they've had, and other times it's like all new. But it's like they're in the optional buys that you have for the other things. You can buy all the other stuff, but never in the exact same boxes as you could in that original campaign. So. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so it's kind of tricky.
Separated it out.
And I got a couple of extra things but for what I got is basically 4 boxes, and if I'm kind of guessing on the boxes, but it's about the same as last time. And so 4 boxes, and this other one's probably a small box.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So roughly the same thing, but much more expensive on the front end, just for the cost of it.
Yeah,
and we'll compare and see what the value in that was. That's not really the question, but it gave me pause. I was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten into?
Yeah, it's getting more and more common. Yeah, to see these higher prices on things, which kind of makes you wonder why you're backing stuff anyways. You got to really decide, what is worth it to you to have to back as opposed to buying it later down the road.
What's your limit?
Yeah, God, I don't know. It really, so it depends, because it depends how much content you're getting. So I had that whole Monster Hunter full back set. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of boxes, heavy plastic pieces. And I can't think off the top of my head what that price was, but it was probably somewhere around the range of like $50 or something to get that shipped out. It was a chunk. I remember it being a chunk, and I was like, oh God, I'm already invested, emotionally into getting all this stuff, and so I just bit the bullet and bought it. Because the other option was to back out and have to pay 10% to him anyways, just for having put it through the first point.
But like a 10% restock fee.
Yeah, it kind of depends. Sometimes I'm a little more open if it's going to be like a heavily involved small company. Like I wish I knew off the top of my head how much Ban West shipping was. I need my own laptop out here and have all this stuff. But like with him, I felt like I was a little more inclined to want to support him financially and help him out because he's super involved with everybody. That makes a big difference too, like how transparent the company is with you and their issues and their own struggles and their earnest attempt to try to get their game out and really make something great for you. But one particular example that has gotten really outrageous for some people has been the expansion to Atlantis Rising. So the same guys that did Elf Creek Games, the same people that did Honey Buzz, they decided to make this expansion. I don't remember if they were actually the ones that originally did Atlantis Rising too. That may have even been a different person, but anyways, they're making this expansion for it. And man, they've really had some struggles getting that out. And I just saw a new update that was out for that. I don't get these updates like sent to me because I pre-ordered it on Game Nerds.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not too. I was just kind of looked into all the drama that was going on between that, and he kind of cut off a lot of communication for a while, which was really bad, and really kind of like makes people pretty upset about anything that they're having to deal with the game if they're not getting any just like, hey, just want to let you guys know that we hear you, we're working on it, sorry, all of our focus is going towards getting this stuff out to you guys. One of the things that they were dealing with though is some of the other countries that they were shipping this stuff out to, it was going into their distribution center, and then it was going to cost him like $200 to send for whatever reason to get into some of these remote areas. Should have been something that you figured out ahead of time before you charge people these prices. But it was amounting to like their game being held hostage at the distribution center until somebody was able to fork out the extra money. And he's having to fork out a lot of extra money too, so it's this kind of back and forth thing. That's why the communication, again, is so important, because it could have alleviated a lot of those issues. But the expansion, I think I only paid like not much. I mean, it wasn't any more than around like $40 or something, probably, for that expansion. And then you got people that are worried about having to pay as much in shipping for the game to come out, and the percentage really if you got anything that's more than 25% of the game, I mean, that's kind of pushing it anyways, having that price that you're having to deal with being 25%. But it starts to get really outrageous sometimes.
Windward, the big box for Windward had so much trouble shipping and stuff, but they were right in the middle of the 2020 mess that was going on then, and they basically had to go get jobs. They had a pretty successful board game. Like they had the Quest for El Dorado was a good game, and apparently it done really good. And they were kind of coming together. And Windward, the initial Windward, I think did okay for kind of an indie company. And then the big box Windward and stuff was about the last thing I saw. They have Legends Academy was their next game, and I don't know if it's been delivered or it's even been able to manage. They're just trying to do whatever they can to get that stuff made and over the ocean. That's so tough.
Yeah, it has been. And I've got like, I think one of the games that I finished, just had their pledge manager open for a really long time, was Arydia, the same guy that made Zia Legends of a Drift System.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was holding off, and he was like to the last minute.
Did you buy that?
Get shipping. I did. I got Arydia and also got Zia along with it. It was very slightly cheaper to go ahead and get it through him. So
I was so tempted by that one. I actually bid for that one, and then I backed out at the last
for Arydia. Yeah. Zia's a really neat game, and Arydia just looks like a really cool another campaign, but whatever. Yeah, so he pushed it out, and then finally closed the pledge manager here not too long ago, maybe a month ago or something like that. And I mean, it's it was open for a while, so people are doing what they can do, and I think that's, again, I keep going back to that. I think that's the most important thing, is that people are really transparent with what they're doing with the shipping stuff when you've got a game designer and you've got all these people that are backing your game. If you have problems with it, you need to let everybody know the problems you're dealing with, and they're going to complain, but you need to be able to keep coming in there and not be like afraid, because they start to come off like they're afraid to talk to anybody, and they want to just hide off and just get this thing done, and it's this huge headache for them. If they would just talk about the headache that they're dealing with and all that helps quite a bit. And then you'll still have the people that are going to crab no matter what, like, I backed this game, I need to get what I got, and like they're screaming at them, and it's like there's only so much the person can do anyways too. So it makes everybody else a lot more understandable about those issues. So
I've definitely been in the comments bitching like a bitching.
Oh yeah, I mean,
bitching like a bitch.
It's reasonable to do at times, especially when it's.
Sometimes it's unreasonable. It just you want to, because you're so mad.
Yeah, when it's bad company practices, then it's certainly warranting some bitching.
Yeah, I try to be real fair about a lot of stuff, and I give credit when credit's due and stuff.
Right,
right now, I'm so aggravated with CMON and their Marvel Zombicide.
Oh.
So they've sent it out.
Damn you,
they sent it out. Damn you, CMON!
CMON did it again.
They have
backing your games.
They've put that. They must have just. I guess they sold a lot of it. Grant. I know it was a big game. I know they sold a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But usually you like pile all the stuff you got on and send it all together. And what they're doing is they're like, well, we put it on 3 crates going to the East Coast and 4 crates going to that, and all on different boats. So it's like. It's trickling in to the point where even if you, and I could go on about double wave shipping, and the first time I saw that was on this, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to cost like twice as much to get it all, to get it as it comes out versus like when they finish making all.
Yeah, I'm the type of person I'll certainly hold off on that wave 1, wave 2 stuff if I can just get it all at once at the end. But,
do you do one wave?
No, yeah. If I can hold off and it's going to save shipping, I'm like, I can wait. I want the whole game anyways. I don't want part of the game.
I had to on this one. I mean, this one,
had to. They made you do wave 1, wave 2.
No, I had to because the cost difference was enormous. It was absolutely berserk to do 2 wave shipping and stuff. So it's like the cost of shipping with this one. Yeah. So if you got everything with the giant Galactus, that's a lot of stuff, and Galactus is a big guy. Mm-hmm. It was $155 or $200 if you did 2 wave shipping.
That's insane. But you had to pay the 150. Wait, what did you end up having to pay for this?
I paid about $67 shipping because I did a single wave, and all I got the 2 box sets and like 2 other little box sets and stuff. You'll see it soon.
Jeez, yeah. But how much did you pay altogether? But before the shipping, like how much was the cost of your thing?
I do not remember. This was on Kickstarter.
I'm just curious the percentage too.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't have my receipt for that. But when I get it, I'm going to do a video, much like the unmatched box set video. It'd be what do you get for, and there's whatever I paid for.
Yeah,
and I'll show you.
Yeah, it's gotten these kind of things too. Have gotten a lot of people to just kind of pull back from. Like I know I've done that plenty of times. Games that I would have backed, I'm just like, man, I can get this so much cheaper if I wait for retail, because it's so often that you get free shipping from these retailers and stuff too.
Well, that's the thing too.
Unfortunate, yeah.
So that like using this game as an example, obviously I'm aggravated about it, but to use it as an example and to be fair. When I did complain about it a bit, the pushback I got most often was, well, you'd have to buy scalper prices for all the stuff you wouldn't normally get. Mm-hmm. So that Kickstarter Extras box that's in every CMON adventure and crowdfunding. So the cheapest I could find it was $200.
It's bait. It's
$200.
Yeah.
So that is a lot more than the shipping cost.
Yeah.
And if I was really upset, I should just not open that and sell it.
Yeah.
and I'd make probably most of the money back for the pledge itself, at least, because I think I paid a lot on this one.
Yeah, choices, but geez, man, yeah, it gets pretty pricey though.
So you're fighting FOMO. There's all these things that come up.
Yeah, and the problem is you don't usually, like, again, you don't know these shipping prices from the get go, and I think if you knew exactly what you were paying ahead of time, then you might not even want to back it to begin with. So I think sometimes I think they kind of, I don't know, there's all, you can conspiracy theorize as much as you want to, but sometimes I feel like they go, oh, this is our estimating shipping price, and then they're just like, okay, we're going to tell them later that we have a bunch of issues, and then, like, we're going to have to ask for some more for shipping.
Well, I mean,
unfortunately, we've run into so many financial issues, and put it out there. So some of that may or may not be legitimate. People try to trick Kickstarters anyways. It's super frustrating when I see these really low backing goals.
Really, that that they couldn't really make the game.
It's
for
just
that.
Who cares if it was backed in 2 hours or 15 minutes or whatever? Yeah. Nobody cares as long as it's backed. That was one of the things that was nice when Isaac Childers did that with the last Gloomhaven. I think he immediately was like, "Our goal is $2 million," or something like that. He had like a normal goal that you would have and put it out there, and they reached it after so much time. It was
30 seconds. 40 seconds.
Yeah, no, I think it took them days to get to it, but it was reasonable, and that makes so much more sense. Who cares?
Oh yeah, they never put it in the millions, do they?
It's like somebody, I don't know. It's just that weird marketing practices where they feel like they have to keep doing that, and this is starting to become a whole other topic.
Oh, it is.
About it, but. But it's like people selling you bags of chips, and they sell it for the same price, but give you 5 ounces less, and they keep doing that. And it's like, why don't you just increase the price, because you're already doing it anyways? Just put it out there.
Yeah, we'd like to see a little bit more openness in the shipping prices as we buy it and stuff. But yeah, I know it's hard. You're going to make the thing a year from now, and then the whole world will change. You get that too. So
you asked the cutoff point. I would say, like, for me in general, like, if it's getting to like above 25% of the cost of the game, it's starting to get like not really worth it.
Yeah,
because you can normally get that same game, the same games for nothing later on.
I will pay,
except for that Kickstarter FOMO on those specials.
If it's got
CMON,
if they've got a lot of incentives, like the FOMO type incentives and stuff that I'm interested in, and genuinely. I've never backed out after it's funded.
Yeah.
I've never taken that 10% hit and just gone, oh.
And people will pay those higher prices for stuff that they can't get later on. So there's that, I mean, it's kind of, you're getting a collector's item at that point, if you're.
I have chased down things I chose not to get before, and I don't like that very much either. No. So like you, my goal is, no more than 25% of the price, unless I just love it and decide to have it at any cost.
And again, that really makes a difference too if those people are like, if you're kind of more invested in like these indie developers, these small time developers, and you're just wanting to give them the support and they seem due for it, then by all means go spend as much as you want to, to help them out. Sometimes you want to just give them, because you genuinely are helping that game be birthed into the world by putting that money into it. A lot of these companies don't necessarily need to sell as much stuff as they do to get their game out or whatever. So, big companies like CMON that are just cranking out the dough all the time with this just endless content that they do.
And you tend to pay a little bit more, I think, for the more independent people because they don't have the connections and the resources to make it. So, I give them a break on a lot of stuff, and I just suck it up and buy it if I want that game.
Yeah, that's true. So,
and folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back soon with more topics and other things to talk about. Until next time, enjoy your games. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.